Hi everyone, welcome to Composition April 15th. Here we go. So objectives for the day, we have two of them. We are going to review important vocabulary and concepts from our unit so far. And we are going to analyze the implications. Yes, that is a new vocabulary word. We're going to analyze the implications of data on both sides of the argument about technology by using cause and effect transition words. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to review argument prompts and essays, counterclaims, Sherry Turkle's argument, and Bijan Stevens' argument. These were the two sources that we looked at before we were so rudely interrupted by coronavirus. We are going to look at some data about teens' use of and feelings about technology. And then we are going to analyze that data for what it means about technology and how it is used. Okay, so to review, an argument prompt is going to give you background information on an issue or a quote from someone presenting an opinion. Then it will ask you to write an essay in which you argue for or against that opinion. So arguing for it means you're defending it. Arguing against it means you are challenging that opinion. Our prompt for the unit is right here. So Sherry Turkle, a social sciences professor at MIT, argues in her book, Alone Together, Why We Expect More from Technology and Less from Each Other, that relentless connection leads to a new solitude. We turn to new technology to fill the void, but as technology ramps up, our emotional lives ramp down. So that's her opinion. Your prompt is to carefully consider her argument about technology's impact on human relationships, and then write an essay in which you defend or challenge that argument. Support your argument with appropriate evidence from your reading, observation, or experience. So I'm going to have you pause the video right now and go into the Classwork document for today, April 15th, and answer the first question, which is to put Sherry Turkle's argument into your own words. So we did this in class already, but just want to make sure we are reviewing. So pause the video, answer question 1. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video, you answered that first question. We're going to review some vocabulary. So first important vocabulary word, acknowledge, to admit or accept something. So Esteban acknowledged that the other team played a great game, but he was still upset about losing. Counterclaim, a claim on the opposite side of your argument. So Mr. Patel argued that flip-flops are the best possible footwear, but Mrs. Gonzalez pointed out the counterclaim that they are unprofessional. Argument, an opinion or perspective about an issue based on a series of claims or smaller arguments. So an argument is like a thesis, and claims are like assertions that support that thesis. Okay, again, Sherry Turkle's argument. So you should have already answered this question, and in your own words, so you can't copy this. Sherry Turkle's argument is that being constantly connected to technology actually makes us more lonely. Her two main claims are, so claims, again, they support her big argument. Technology doesn't allow for real conversation since we can edit how we present ourselves, and technology makes us not know how to be alone. And if we can't be alone, we can't have deep relationships. So if you need more review on this, you can go ahead and rewatch Sherry Turkle's TED Talk, Connected But Alone. I'm going to put up this PowerPoint as well, and it'll be linked there, or you can just Google it. The transcript will be linked in Google Classroom as well. I'm going to put up all these resources. Okay, so that's Sherry Turkle. Bijan Stevens' argument, he has a counterclaim to her argument. So we read this article. It's from Wired Magazine. Again, I'm linking it here in the slide so you can read it again if you would like, and it'll also be up in Google Classroom. His counterclaim is that social media is important to help social movements like Black Lives Matter. So he is pro-social media. And he says that being constantly connected to one another allows ideas to spread more quickly and people to protest more easily. So I'm going to have you pause here again, and I want you to go into that Classwork document for today and summarize the two sides of the argument in your own words. Okay, so we're back. Obviously, this topic about technology is super relevant right now. So I don't know what you guys are doing to stay in touch with your friends, but we're talking to our friends and family using FaceTime and Zoom meetings. We're having staff meetings via Zoom. This is a screenshot from our staff meeting. And I feel kind of two ways about this. It's awesome that we can still connect with people that we love during this time, but I don't think it's the same as or as good as real face-to-face interaction. So again, pause the video, go in and answer those reflection questions. So how are you using technology? Is it the same as face-to-face interaction? What's different about it, if anything? Go ahead and answer those reflection questions in the classwork document. Okay, so far we have reviewed argument prompts and essays, vocabulary important to our argument unit, so argument, acknowledge, and counterclaim. We've reviewed Sherry Turkle's argument, which you're going to write an essay agreeing or disagreeing with her. And then we read that counter argument, Bijan Stevens' argument about technology and how it helps social movements like Black Lives Matter. Okay, so up next, this is our big classwork for the day. So this is kind of the last source that we are going to look at for this unit. We're going to analyze some data. So some new vocabulary, implications. So we're going to analyze the implications of data on both sides of this argument about technology. So implications, there are two main definitions. So possible future effects or results of something, sort of like dominoes, right? You knock one domino down and eventually the last domino goes down. So it's thinking about like possible future effects. So an example would be the coronavirus has implications that go much farther than people getting sick. Schools, small businesses, and families will all be feeling the effects for a long time. So the implications of this coronavirus are not just people getting sick, right? The implications go farther, these future effects that different people, groups of people are going to be feeling. Other definition of implication is kind of like an inference. So an inference that you can make from a piece of technology, or a piece of information, rather. So an example would be the implication of the data is that teens are using technology for almost all communication now. So that's an inference that I'm making from the data about what the data is about. Okay, so reading data. So some key points. To understand a data table, you have to first identify what is being measured. So this is going to be in the headline or subtitle. So right here, this percent of teens who use social media, that line right there, percent of teens who use social media who agree or disagree that people share too much information about themselves on social media. So that's what is being measured. So again, what was measured in this question was that percentage who agree or disagree that people share too much information about themselves on social media. So someone asked a question of these teens, do people share too much information about themselves on social media? This measures the percentage who said, yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. So the results, then you go into the results. So the results are the numbers, right? The results were 88% said that they agreed. And within that, 35% strongly agreed, right? So net agree, net means total. Net agree that, or 88% of teens agree that people overshare on social media. So we're going to translate this data into a complete sentence. So the data says that 88% of teens agree that people overshare on social media. 35% strongly agree that people overshare on social media. Okay, then you are going to, once you know what the data says, then you need to kind of figure out what the data means. So these are some questions you could answer about what the data means. What does it show about how people use social media? Why might this be the case, right? So you're making like inferences here. Why do you think this is the case using what you know about social media and how people use it? What does it say about the effects of social media, right? Possible future effects. So that's that other definition of implications. And then which side of the debate does this support and why? So is this data like supporting Sherry Turkle's argument or is it not? And then I want to practice the skill of using cause and effect transition words because this is something that we are going to do in our analysis in our actual essay. So your analysis sentence might say something like, since, so that's our cause and effect transition word, since social media is so available and used constantly, many people share parts of their lives that they would not have in the past. Okay, so you're going to do some practice right now. So these pieces of data are up in that classwork document. You're going to answer the questions in there. So you're going to follow those 2 steps, right? So step 1, what does the data say? So what's being measured? What are the results, the numbers? And then you're translating that into one complete sentence, at least one complete sentence. This piece of data measures 2 different things. So you could do 2 complete sentences. And then step 2, what does the data mean? So you're going to use one of those cause and effect transition words to answer at least one of these questions. So you're talking about the implications of the data. Okay, cool. I'm going to have you pause the video and go do that practice for this first question. Okay, and we're back. So some answers, and again, your answers might not exactly match this, but that's okay, as long as it's about the same. So the data says that 69% of teens feel better connected to their friends' feelings due to social media. So where I got that number was 49 plus 20, right? So that's the number, that the total number of people who say that they feel better connected, whether it's a lot or a little. So 69% of teens feel better connected to their friends' feelings due to social media. It also says that 83% of teens, so again, 50 plus 33, 83% of teens feel better connected to their friends' lives due to social media. So here are some possible analysis sentences. So because teens can communicate so frequently on social media, it is easier to feel connected to their feelings or lives. Teens use social media constantly. As a result, they feel better connected to their friends' feelings and lives. And this data challenges Sherry Turkle's claim because it shows that teens feel better connected to their friends due to social media. So remember, Sherry Turkle says that technology really makes us lonelier. This data challenges her claim. It would disagree with her. Okay, so now it is up to you to complete the rest of the data analysis in the classwork document in Google Classroom. It's actually just going to be in the classwork document, April 15th classwork document. And this is a classwork grade. Good luck.